Hi, I'm Marcus Van Zant, broker, owner, and founder of Marcus and Company Realty. And I'm coming to you today with this video and shooting this video to speak specifically to condominium, townhouse, and villa owners, those in a condo association. This is a spring of 2024 market. We should be in a hot and heavy market, but I see as this slide here on the monitor shows a perfect storm coming to the condo market, and not necessarily in a good way for sellers. It might be an opportunity for buyers, but right now I'm talking to you as a seller, as an owner of one of these properties. Now, what is the perfect storm? What's happening, and what should you be aware of? One is insurance, okay? And we'll get into the specifics in a minute, but as we know in the state of Florida, we've been running into some issues with insurance. One of the issues with the insurance companies and why they're leaving Florida has not necessarily been a profitable process for them to be here in the state of Florida. And so our legislation has passed some different things to try to help that out, because the reality is that in order to bring more insurance companies in, we actually need insurance companies to want to invest in the state of Florida. Okay, and we'll come back to that, but that's insurance is the number one issue. Number two is the milestone inspection issue, which occurred because a couple of years ago when those towers collapsed in Miami and the fatalities that happened with that, we had some deferred maintenance issues in a lot of condos. Now, you may be saying, hey, listen, I'm not in one of those condos, and that's 3 stories and above. I understand that, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well, but it's going to affect everyone in a condo market. So what is occurring and what I see as the perfect storm? Well, one, Florida has allowed, and this is a new rule, new changes with the Florida legislation, Florida has allowed condominium communities to go without reserves or zero reserves for way too long. This is where you're coming up with these different issues regarding the deferred maintenance issues, okay? So zero reserves. So what perfect storm number one is, or the step one towards this perfect storm, is that the condos in any condo association is now collecting fees. And if you're in a condo, you probably have seen that if you were at zero. They're collecting funds from the owners, current owners, to build their reserves. Okay, and it's necessary. We can't really go without that. And you're seeing not only those affected by milestone, which is the 3 stories and above, but you're seeing that across the board because this is what's affecting the entire community. Number two is the deferred maintenance of such. Okay, so if we've actually been deferring maintenance, we're going to also, the condo associations are going to also collect funds, special assessments towards fixing the deferred maintenance. Now, why is that such a big issue? Let's go back to the insurance companies. Why would an insurance company want to insure your project if there's deferred maintenance and no reserves? So the reality is it's not a very attractive for an insurance company to want to insure something that's not been maintained well. Okay, so these two things are necessary because of the milestone inspections. Now, what is occurring also is that you're seeing that the fees on a monthly basis are going up, okay? And the reason they're going up is because of the cost of insurance and those kinds of things. So you've now been hit at least 3 times, and I've seen some condo communities getting hit with even a 3rd special assessment and such, in which the impact to the current owners is greater than what they agreed to when they first bought into the property, right? So let me give you an example really quickly. At our interest rates right now, about 6% or so, let's just make it 6%. If your funds have gone up, or your fees on a monthly basis have gone up by $200, right? And we're seeing a lot of things happen easily $200. We're seeing more than that. But that's going to impact the value on an affordability on a monthly basis by about $40,000 to $50,000. Okay, so if you look at that situation, every $100 is going to be about $20,000 to $25,000 because people buy on the monthly, right? I want to buy a car. I really don't care about the price. What's my monthly fee? So the reality is, if your funds or your fees go up by a certain amount, the price has to come down to affect that your community is still $1,000 a month community, or $2,000 a month community, or $5,000 a month community, right? Every month, there's got to be a certain fixed cost to that. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to see a lot of folks, especially on fixed incomes, that cannot afford the assessments and who cannot afford the increase in the monthlies. Okay, perfect storm. We're going into already a buyer's market in this situation with condos. Right now, currently as we speak, we're in our market here on the Gulf Coast. We're running about 7.5 months worth of inventory. So we got a lot of inventory now. And there's been over the years conversations about having low inventory, but we have about 7.5 months of inventory. Now, 5 to 6 months of inventory is a normalized market. Okay, anything over that is going to be a buyer's market. Anything below the 5 is typically into the seller's market, which you can pretty much ask and do anything you want to. Well, if this happens the way I believe it's going to happen, and we're already seeing this in communities, so look around your community if you're in a condo. How many listings are there? And you will see the increase of these listings and the reasons for them. If you're actually a part of your board, or if you're not paying attention to the board, get involved with the board. You want to read the minutes and see what's going on. But you're going to have a situation in which you could be in not only a community that has a lot of listings, in which you become an uber buyer's market and experience 12 to 15 months of inventory, which is what we experienced back in the days after the financial collapse, which caused a lot of short sales and such. But the reality is you could end up with that kind of a thing. And if you do, it's going to trickle to many others, right? So your community or your condo may not be affected. You go, hey, we're good. We got reserves. We got no special assessments. We're good. But I don't know. I've never seen in our economy in all my years of selling real estate that one thing didn't lead to another, and it's guilt by association, right? So if all of a sudden we start talking in this market about condos, everybody's going to generally speak about all condos, right? So it could be a different situation out on the islands for the luxury style condos versus the lower price ones and all that kind of stuff. So this is what we definitely can kind of see happening. So we're going to be in a situation in which you're going to want to not only be an effective price, you're not getting what the person last year got priced for. Okay, that's just not going to happen. So you're going to want to get your condo priced accordingly to sell quickly. Do not be the last one. I experienced this myself back in the financial collapse. I owned multiple properties. I needed to get out of one, and I would lower my price by a little bit. Somebody would, leapfrog me, sell, then I'd have to be forced to try to chase them. And basically, the analogy is, if you've ever, been up north or ever was a kid with a slinky, it's really difficult to catch a slinky when you're running down the stairs. In order to catch a slinky going down the stairs, you have to jump in front of it and stop it. So in order to effectively do that, you have to do that. Now, from the buyer standpoint, folks moving out of the Northeast or someplace else, this is our new normal, right? I mean, the prices of what's accordingly, they'll be coming in these new communities and they'll be like, okay, well, that's what I can afford to live in Florida. And it's just going to change things. What this really impacts is those folks who bought years and years ago on a fixed income, or they just can no longer afford because of the cost. So this is a situation, if you don't sell now, there's a very good high likelihood that you get much less later. So if you're listed with us currently, we need to have conversations really quickly about getting aggressive. I do know of some communities right now having some legal issues regarding this milestone. You're seeing upwards of close to 30 listings. If whether you're the president, vice president, treasurer, or secretary of one of these condo communities, if you see them, the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, listing their condo for sale, something's going on that, insider trading, if you will, you're going to want to get ahead of it. These are the things that happen. If you can afford and you're good with it, hey, listen, you're good with it, ride out the storm. And on the backside of every storm are clear skies, right? But it's going through the storm that's going to affect a lot of folks. So if you have any questions about this information, please feel free to reach out to me. I have not only talked to our higher ups in the Florida Association of Realtors, I've talked to some legislators as well. And I said, do you know what this is going to cause, and that this is, we're going to have some victims of what's going occurring. And everybody said, yes, we do know that affordability and moving to Florida is not necessarily the thing that we're going to be touting any longer. But because of the collapse of those towers and the fatalities that occurred to that, they can no longer take risks and allow zero reserves and deferred maintenance. So I hope you found this video valuable. I know that we've been watching it for some time, for several months, and speaking about this here in our office. But it was confirmed last week on some meetings that I had that this is the direction we're definitely going in the state of Florida. And we do know that there's going to be an issue to that. And you know what? I mean, we live in paradise. There's a cost to live here. It just is what it's going to be. Back in the 70s, California became unaffordable for some folks. We're the new California. Florida is a paradise. People are realizing that. I mean, today we have blue skies, 80-degree weather, our waters are gorgeous, and so it's the cost of living here. But it really just quite honestly sucks for those of us who have been here for a while if you're one of those people that are in a condo and can no longer afford it. But if you want as much money as you possibly can get, it's moving fast. You got to get out of the way of it really, really quickly. Get out of the way of the storm. Let's just charge straight into that storm and make sure that you get as much as you possibly can for the property. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. Please share this amongst your friends and family if they're involved in a condo in the entire state of Florida. You're going to see that, especially on our coast. We're just, we get the sunsets. It's the cost of living in Florida. And you're going to want to, make some quick decisions on that. So please continue to follow us along. We'll try to get some more information out on this as we can. If you're, like I said, if you're listed with us, get with your agent, get with me as fast as you possibly can. Let's have some more conversation about this. And thank you for taking time to watch this video. Please share, like, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We appreciate you taking time on this one.